everyone, welcome to Fat to Thin Senior RNY. I'm Raven. I was 76 years old when I had gastric bypass surgery on December 16, 2019. Last week I talked about continuing life, the thinning of this channel, and saying hello to my new channel, Adventures with Raven and Raleigh. In this vlog I'll be talking about this past month, the people who push food. It's just amazing. If you're curious, please continue to watch and join me on this journey. In this vlog, I'll be talking about this past month and the people who push food, particularly this last week. I kept a kind of log of thoughts, otherwise, you know how it goes, you forget everything, right? Somewhere around the week of 4/19, was that 3 weeks ago, I went to a surprise party. It was the first party ever after I had my second COVID shot. Okay, these people are not into masks or any kind of thing like that. I tried to social distance, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, at that party, since it was a potluck dinner too, I tried to eat, just tiny little amounts of stuff. But the people want you to fill the plate, I threw 2 plates in the garbage. People just kept giving me food. Anyway, I ate something. I think it was a salad that had raw broccoli in it, and I probably didn't chew it enough. Or it could have been the hamburger. I had hamburger with ketchup. My stomach doesn't really like beef too much. And then of course it could have been a deviled egg. Who knows? Those are the 3 things that I ate some of, more than maybe 2 mouthfuls of each. It caused severe dumping syndrome and pain. Within a half an hour, I left the party. I mean, I had to go. No pun intended. I've had dumping syndrome, but I've never had pain like this before. It was terrible. I slept off and on for about 18 hours, just trying to get over this. And poor Raleigh didn't get a walk longer than 10 minutes, if he got one that was 10 minutes, I tried to make it 10 minutes, at any rate. And then so I took a 𝗏𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒐𝒎. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. Well, I was in pain. When you're in pain, you do stuff, And for a while there, I felt sicker than if I hadn't taken the pill. It was just bad news. But I found that I really am addicted to 𝗏𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒐𝒎, even though it's a non-addictive drug and it doesn't get you high or anything like that. I was reading that only 20 to 25% of people successfully get off of 𝗏𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. At any rate, I don't remember why I talked myself into it, except I was in pain. I found out the side effects definitely were not in my head. I felt slightly dizzy, I forgot words, I felt really, really tired all the time, etc., etc. All of those things that I'd been bitching about, such as life. At least I know where it's coming from. The next week, about 4/22, no, it wasn't even a few days later, I got on the scale and I found I was 166.6 pounds. I was thrilled because I'd been going up and down and up and down, up and down, and I was up to like 173 at one point, and I was just ready to cry because I was so upset about that. And I haven't really lost anything for about 3 months. It's just been lose the same 2-3 pounds. I believe what was happening was I was eating a lot of processed foods because it's convenient. I don't have to cook anything for anybody. I mean, like I got a package of frozen chicken tenders, so I could throw one or two of them in the air fryer, or some fish sticks or something like that, burritos, anything that cooks fast and that I could eat one of, or two of, I don't really think that was too good. I have no idea what I weighed today. I've been out in the desert, boondocking. I got a little browner. Sure, a little evenly brown anyway. I mean, if you go up my shoulders, it's not all white up there. Anyway, around May 2nd, the caravan I was meeting with was supposed to start on May 3rd and go to May 8th, which is tomorrow. As you can tell, I'm home. I didn't stay until tomorrow. But anyway, so in this caravan, there was a woman who was from California. She came and she stayed in my park for a few nights. I couldn't let her sleep on my couch because I realized that I'm far too personal for that, and this place is far too small. She was over 12 hours later and arrived at like 7 o'clock in the morning the next day, So I'm home waiting. You know how it is? Just right to it. She wanted to go to Denny's for breakfast, so I said, okay. She said she'd pay for it and I'd pay the tip. I said, okay, that's reasonable. So I ate 1/3 of the eggs and none of the potatoes, just 1/3 of the eggs. I brought it all home for breakfast and dinner that night, breakfast the next morning. And I did not throw it away before I went camping, because that meant that I had to throw out the garbage, and I didn't have time for that. So I just left it in the refrigerator, and it's still in there. I haven't looked at it. It's probably growing creatures, And anyway, the amount of food they serve at Denny's is just unbelievable. I mean, even with the 3 meals, I got to throw away the food, Anyway, this woman, we were supposed to leave on Monday, the 3rd, and she got up late. I said I wanted to get there early. We're going to be out in the desert. Under no circumstances do I want to be pitching a tent at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Just that ain't the thing. Just really isn't, okay? We didn't go to Mojave, but it's in the desert. She got up at 8 o'clock. Then she said, oh, I got to wash laundry and I need to take a shower. I said, okay, an hour and a half. 3 hours later, I called and said, where are you? She said, oh, I just started my laundry. I was talking to this woman and she... So anyway, 6 hours into this, we end up pulling into the camping spot. It is high noon, past high noon. The sun is saying all kinds of wonderful things, and I have no shade. But I'm out there pitching this tent, I pitched the tent. It took 15 minutes to pitch the tent, which was really good, and I did 99% of it by myself, and which was really good. And I probably could have done the whole thing, but this woman showed up and asked to help, so I said, sure. The hard part was staking the tent down. The desert, I don't know, I guess it must be the movies. Lawrence of Arabia, you think of desert, you think of sand. Not in the Midwest. It's like concrete. You're like trying to hammer a nail into concrete. We spent over 2 hours trying to stake down this tent. We eventually got most of the pegs about halfway in. They were 10-inch pegs, big heavy-duty suckers. And I had a maul that I was hammering this thing in with. We ended up getting them in about halfway and then piling rocks to hold the stakes in place. I mean, piles of rocks. There's 3 women there helping me pile rocks on these stakes to hold the tent in place, because last night the wind went over 40 miles an hour. The tent didn't move. In fact, I don't even remember hearing it. Anyway, so we get there. Definitely not wanting to put up a tent in the heat. But she was saying, well, we should get there when it's sundown. I can imagine me trying to pitch a tent in the dark. Yes. Okay. So anyhow, the whole time I was with her, every time I was with her, she talked about food. She kept saying she was a foodie. And I kept telling her, well, I'm not a foodie. You know, I actually don't even think about it. In fact, I didn't even realize how much I don't think about food like I used to think about food. I just don't, you know. She came, I did not realize, but she came boondocking in the desert unprepared. She had no way to cook food. She was relying on me for some reason to cook her food or something. I don't know. She had bought stuff, but it was share and it had to be cooked, but she had no method. And then she tells me she's afraid of gas. So that gets out propane, butane, anything other than electricity. And where do you get that if you don't have solar? I tell you, it's amazing. She wanted me to carry, after I had set up my camp, she wanted me to carry my stove, my table, my pots and pans, and salt and pepper down to her campsite. She parked at the very entrance to the 2.5 acres that we had available. And I parked at the other end because I had this huge monster tent. And she was upset because I didn't park next to her. But anyhow, I gotta stop complaining. At any rate, I did not carry my pots and pans and my table and stove down to her campsite so that she could cook. Anyway, so it didn't go too well. Anyway, I woke up this morning and she was gone. She said she was going to Vegas for a buffet. She wanted to know if I wanted to go along. Now, this is what, day 4 or 5 I've been talking to this woman, telling her I'm not really into food. No, thank you. No, I don't want any cake. No, I don't want, you know, no, thank you. Do I want to go to a buffet? You know, I said, you know, I can eat 4 ounces. What am I going to do at a buffet? You know, is that worth it, really? You know, and she says, well, you know, how much do you weigh? And I said, 165 pounds. And she says, well, I'm 185 pounds. And I'm saying to myself, so, and? Okay. Well, she says, well, you know, it wouldn't hurt. I said, what wouldn't hurt? What, going to a buffet? And spending more money than I need to, and trying to shove more food in my body than I really want there? Or what, you know? But I didn't say that out loud. And she offered me some, she had an extra blueberry pie. And I said, you know that I'm diabetic. You know, I already told you I don't eat candy. I told you, don't bring me any chocolate. No, I don't need desserts. Thank you very much. You want me to gain more weight. From the time I started losing years ago to now, I've lost 110 pounds. And you want me to do what? Commit suicide by blueberry, right? No, thank you. So that was the end of that. You know, just terrible. Yeah, and it is suicide by blueberry. Sometimes you just have to be firm, that's all. And that's the way it goes. So anyway, Rowley. Okay, so I think the next time I go camping, I have to bring a fan for me. That's what you call dog camping in style. The Rowley report. Rowley is doing fabulous. He was loving it in the desert. I mean, he became a whole new dog. I don't know what happened there, but he just calmed down. It was the sweetest thing. He was just wonderful until the unicorn came out, which I'll have to tell you some other time. but he walked up to, it was like all of the dogs that was there were rescues, and all of them had anxiety just like he does, you know, and the parents have anxiety just, yeah, like I do. And but he was so calm. He went up and sniffed them and let them sniff him, and they touched noses and, you know, that kind of, and nobody, it was a camp of good maybe 20 dogs out of the, I don't know, probably 50 vans that were there. Some were in the camp, some were up further up on the hill. But you didn't hear dog barking all the time. Didn't hear dog, they just didn't do it. It was just like, okay, this is calm, this is cool. The other time, there was another time when they barked a lot. And that was when a man and a woman wandered into the group area. I mean, this is public land, so they have every right to be there. But the dogs noticed the man before we did. And they were lunging, and like we hadn't seen, neither one of us, nobody had seen the whole time we had been there. So all of us were surprised, you know. It's amazing. At any rate, he was terrific. He was an absolute gentleman. He let all kinds of women come up and pet him. I mean, tell them how beautiful and how handsome he is, you know. He didn't bark or lunge or anything at anybody. Didn't try and bite nobody, nothing. Well, he did bark at people who came too close to the tent. I guess he defined a certain area as his property, and, you know, you don't come in here without me saying okay, you know. Which was kind of cool too, you know. Let me see. There was one dog who was a rescue, who would, if any other dog came near his van, would bark and lunge, and it just bark, mostly bark and growl and whatever. And we found out later on that he was also a rescue, but he had been attacked by other dogs at one point. So now he doesn't let any dog come near him. That somehow on this trip, in this desert, I got a new dog, which is kind of cool too. It's a sad thing about the man though, when he walked into the caravan group. And it's funny too, when he left, the women were talking, it's funny, they said that always happens with men with their dogs. Every one of them. All of their dogs were rescues, you know. So, hey, what can I tell you? Anyway, to sum up, I did not overeat. In fact, I brought far too much food. I think it was too hot. I was drinking a lot of water, upwards of 90 ounces a day of water, and not peeing very much either, and still feeling like I really need to drink some more water. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, but it was okay. It was fun. It was good. It was good. Oh, I know what it was. The other thing is that I was sitting out in the desert. I brought with me my crocheting, and I made sure I had a couple of games on the computer, you know. Everything was all charged up and whatnot. I never once played a computer game. I never once crocheted a stitch. I never even took it out of the car. I think most of the time I sat in front of the tent with an umbrella, because I need some kind of shade. And just kind of stared at the mountains. I think as a result of the woman with the blueberry pie, I came to grips with my own anger at other people. In particular, other people who I have come to go from love to hate. And that this experience has released at least some of it, you know. It was such a great trip. I'm going to do it again. See you next month. Let me see. See you next month on Friday, June 4th. Okay? So to sum up, as I said, I'm feeling good. I'm really feeling good. I'd make that choice for surgery again because it has allowed me to get out and play. Okay? And it probably will do the same thing for you. It's a great tool. It's a rough tool. It's hard. You know, it's hard. But I'll continue to use this tool to live. So, follow me. The link is below. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video, please. Don't forget to click show more to see the stuff in the description below. And thank you for watching, listening, and thanks for subscribing. See you Friday, June 4th, 2021. Take care of you and yours, and blessed be.